How are you doing?
I just had a moment of almost panic attack, but
When?
literally just now.
Oh my God, really?
It's just we're getting cooped up. We're like so
Yeah.
cooped up.
I said if Mandis dies during this coronavirus, we know why.
Oh shit. Oh man, there was these jokes I was reading. There's some funny memes going
There
around.
are hilarious
Oh
memes
god.
going
And
around.
there was this one and it was like it was like these like funny tweets and one of them was like my girlfriend and I just moved in together for the first time during quarantine. Yeah.
No way. Not new.
That's so
When it's
funny.
like, hey, stay home the whole time. Yeah, it's wild.
It is.
It's really wild. Let me go take an Adderall. One
Okay.
second. 1 second.
Okay, Kyle, leave that
Yeah,
in
we
there.
could. Yeah. Ready. Lights, camera, action. Action. Hey everyone, we're back. Sarah Lyon,
Camile Periat, The Bikini Show.
sponsored by Maximum Beauty.
So, Sarah, we saw each other like 10 days ago, and it feels like it's been like 3 years.
It seriously does. And it seems so past tense, so irrelevant at this point. Like the Arnold Classic, what? What was that? When was that?
But
It totally is so crazy.
it was just like not even under 2 weeks ago. So I feel like we need to do like a little recap. We were so excited to do this recap
Yes.
afterwards, and then everyone just got on lockdown, and our whole life
Everything went
got
crazy.
shook up. So let's do a little
Right.
recap and talk about the athletes, what the division, like where the division is kind of heading. I distinct, look for what the judges are wanting for bikini. And there's a little bit of changing with the posing criteria, so that deserves some attention for us to talk about.
Oh, absolutely. The bikini arm. The
The
bikini arm.
teacup.
The
Yeah.
teacup. Yeah, that definitely did make waves after the Arnold. So yeah, back Arnold, like you said. Awesome, awesome, awesome lineup. I think that the judges did a phenomenal job with what was in front of them. Obviously, it was not an easy job by any stretch of the imagination. Everyone looked so good. And I think the highlight of the show, if you will, would be Angelica. She really came out swinging. I think she looked better than she did when she won the Olympia all 3 times.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's really it was really tough. It was really tough. You know, it could have went either way in my opinion. Obviously
I thought Angelica won from the backside, actually.
I thought she did too. I thought she did too. She was really tight. You know, they had them walk to the back, come back.
Yeah.
She was the tightest that I've ever seen her. And then Issa looked great too.
Yeah.
Issa's glutes actually almost looked a little bit smaller to me on stage, and I think it was just her standing next to Angelica because her glutes came up so much.
Yeah.
You know, it also could have been that she could have been a little bit fuller in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
so
I think I think Issa from like her front side and just everything about her is just like wow, it's undeniable. But from the back side, when I was watching those comparisons, I was like, damn, Angelica is like kind of got her on that.
And she really brought it with her posing too. I thought this was the most confident I'd ever seen her on stage. And, you know, of course that kind of corresponds. You know, you put the work in, you know how good you look. So that just radiated on stage. So it was tough. It was really hard. It could have went either way.
Yeah.
So we had Janet in third, and then it was between Priscilla and
Yeah, Priscilla was a surprise. She looked phenomenal. And I've always been a big fan of her physique, but she really did make she really made a leap from Olympia.
Honestly, yeah, she really did. And honestly, I thought her conditioning was so on point. I thought it was such an ideal bikini conditioning, really.
Totally.
And it was so funny. I ran into her coach, Kim Odo, in the middle of finals. I was running back to use the restroom and saw him, and I stopped him, and we had chatted for a minute, and he was like, they both put in the work. It was up to the judges, so we'll see what happens. This was before awards. And then when I had put it together that he had been coaching Priscilla, it all kind of made sense. It was just, she really brought a different physique with, like you said, since the Olympia. So that was awesome. And then
Yeah.
you had Attila.
Mm-hmm.
Attila looked great. She
Yeah.
looked great. I was surprised that she wasn't a little bit higher up. I thought maybe she was actually going to beat Janet and Priscilla.
Well, I think, yeah, I mean, Priscilla, I personally thought Priscilla looked like she could have been third. And yeah,
Yes.
Tila could have been fourth. I think they both had a more superior conditioning and balance than Janet. Janet seemed off to me.
Janet seemed very off to me. Janet was wearing her, I know this sounds so nitpicky, but Janet was wearing her connectors very low. The lowest I've ever seen him wear them, and it was just really throwing off her posing to me. And some people might get that when they look at it, some people might not. Then just like you said, her flow, the flow
Yeah.
of her physique just didn't do it for me again with the glutes and the hamstring. So I was surprised that she was third. I was.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, it was a tough, that was a really tough lineup. Everybody brought their, well, I'm going to say actually almost everybody brought their A game, but
Right.
not going to name
Right.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think then, of course, to touch on some of the other people that we had touched on before, Alexandria Ross, she brought a phenomenal package.
She made a
She
huge
was,
improvement from
she did.
for that shorter period of time. Like, yes, she absolutely did. And the thing about, like, I was talking to Justine Monroe, who was
Yes.
she took like 2.5 years off. We talked to her right the night before,
Hmm.
and she came back and she was in last call outs. And even talking, I think athletes forget that even like last call outs at Olympia and the
The
Arnold's
Arnold.
is
Right.
it's not a normal show. It's not a
No.
normal show. You go to it and
Right.
they go to any regional show, they could easily be, win or be at least in the top two or three. Um, but yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. And that's what I was just going to say. I think with Justine, I was so excited to see her on stage. I was so excited to see what she brought. I think what hindered her, what hurt her was that she didn't update her posing to stick with the times and what's on stage now. She kind of still did her classic Justine Monroe where she walked out on stage. She didn't really have to pose much, because she has so much muscle. That's how I always remembered her on stage. She would just kind of, I don't want to say stand there because I don't mean it in an insulting way. It looks great on her. But where other girls are fully posing and giving a whole presentation, and Justine kind of still did what she did prior, I think
Yeah.
that's what hurt her. I think if she would have posed a little bit better and showed more of a stage presentation, more of a confidence showing from her, she could have done better. And I didn't like the black suit.
I
I'm
personally
not
didn't
gonna
mind the
lie.
back. I personally didn't mind the black suit on her.
I think
I
she
thought it
looked
was actually
great.
kind of cool.
I think she would look great in like a purple or,
Purple or
and I
a
think
blue.
I think what's hard though too is that at the finals colors of the stage at the Arnold are different from the prejudging colors. So like for instance, I liked it at night.
Yeah, is it
Um,
redder at night?
it has more colors to it where during the day it was more like browns and black
Okay, yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
taupey. So it kind of like you needed a color to pop
Right,
like
right.
3D.
Yeah, I noticed they do change the stage lighting at
Hmm.
nighttime. It was
Hmm.
definitely clear that with what they're looking for is they it's a hard physique to nail. Like you have to like
Fine
they
line.
yeah, like for they want your glutes to be tight and very
Hmm.
full, but they don't want to see too much hardness with the tie-in and the hamstring, but they want to see a super tight core with conditioning, not necessarily a six-pack, but they have the girls
They want the line.
They want super conditioned midsections. It's basically to get that kind of like supple fullness, tightness everywhere else, but that super tight midline. That's a hard thing to achieve. When I got my feedback back, it was exactly what I was kind of expecting. Front side was phenomenal, Sandy said, but backside was just a little bit too hard in the V insertion of my glutes.
Mm-hmm.
I have tie-ins in my off season. So it's like, for me, I'm like, you know what? I have so much dense muscle that that's just a hard physique for me to nail. And that also shows the division kind of going through this shift, and it does that periodically. There was a time when they wanted that like kind of like more definition in the tie-in, but it's shifting. Daraja was one that I think everybody thought like everyone was putting her down as like top 3.
And she looked great, but I think it had to have been a conditioning thing. It really had to have been. She was just too tight, too hard. That's what I saw. Her lines and her shape are ridiculous. They're unbeatable. But that conditioning from the back, that's what I think really got her. She was just too conditioned.
Right. And that's the tricky part, because I was talking to Daraja, and her and I, for an example, we are those areas condition up quickly, but the midsection is the last thing. So when you're trying to soften up or you're trying to slow that down, you start to then compromise your midsection as well. And I think that could possibly be what happened to Daraja, was trying to kind of soften up those lines on the legs and the arms, and then started to losing some of that tightness in the midsection as well. It's hard to say.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they did a great job. It'll just be, how does that be manipulated to her next show? And what show is she doing? Now there's
I mean, all those girls were going to be doing shows right afterwards, and I don't know what they're going to be doing now. I think most of them we're planning for sure Pittsburgh. I'm sure a lot of them are going to be jumping into New York. So those first shows that are allowed back on, those are going to be massive.
They are going to be massive. And then that weekend, so then, like you said, you have New York. I was about to ramble them off, but never mind.
Well, there's the Milwaukee in June. We know that.
Yes, the Milwaukee Pro June 6th. So that's just a couple weeks after. Right after that, like we said, we have New York. Then we have Puerto Rico.
That's gonna be big.
Yep, we have the Shreveport, Louisiana Optimum Pro Bikini. And then I know too that Salt Lake City has also moved to May 23rd weekend. So that's another one that has bikini. Then you have the Mile High, which is going to be on May 30th. And then, like we said, we have the Milwaukee Pro in Milwaukee, Wisconsin with bikini, the Miami Muscle Beach, and Northern California.
That's a big weekend. Every show when the season starts back on till January 29th or August 29th, that's the Olympia cutoff now, since we've had it extended. They're going to be massive shows, but there's a lot of athletes. For an example, I know Priscilla was, just came off of 4th place at the Arnold. She was going to be going right into some shows to requalify. And she's announced that, with everything going on, the whole lockdowns worldwide, it's like you're already conditioned. A lot of the athletes that compete at the Arnolds will take that advantage that they have and go to shows and, instantly
and get it done,
qualify. And now you're in this long lull. So that is, that's just shooken up our whole bodybuilding world.
It changes people's game plans. It changes how they laid out their whole year, how they're going to be rotating their diet, pulling back. It's almost like having like a little reverse diet part before they continue. And yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, we've even had girls that have said that, hey, you know, I'm going to call it a day or I'm going to call it a year for competing this year. It's
Well,
just, everything's too up in the air right now.
And it's so
Because too,
stressful.
that's one of those things that we're all planning that this is all going to be taken care of and that we can go back to our regular scheduled shows and everything will be the same come May 16th weekend. But I mean, no one really knows, you know, no one really knows when this is going to end, what the plan is.
I know. It's crazy. It's absolutely
Yeah.
crazy. It is. So
Yeah.
I know that's a huge topic for us. And I think a lot of people
Yeah.
are going to be wanting to see a whole piece on just that alone. I think there's a lot of information for athletes, both pros, for NPC athletes that are like in this limbo land. You know, they've been on prep, and there's so many athletes, which, you know, when right before the Arnold's, when they announced that they were going to be canceling the expo and we weren't sure if we were going to be competing, I was so heartbroken because I was like, I've come all this way. I feel and I look amazing and I can't even showcase it. So all these athletes that have had to stop their preps and they're like just almost there. It's like, it's heartbreaking.
Right. It really is. It really
I almost feel like there should be like a virtual show for people to like actually Maximum Muscle, you guys should do like a virtual show.
A virtual show.
Like yeah, like have people like post their like transformation pictures or something like that and do like a virtual like people can judge.
I don't know about that.
You would probably get a lot of people doing it. Actually,
yeah, that's true.
After 1 week of being in like after 1 week of being in like locked up in your homes, I don't know how we look anymore.
Seriously. Holy crap.
There's like a Dorito stuck in your roll.
This is changing things for people. That's for sure. Even regular lifestyle non-competitors. Yeah, it's wild. Well, then I feel like, no, I was going to say we should wrap it up and go to our next segment, but what we should do is talk about the
teacup.
The teacup. Oh,
yeah.
Goodness. What just happened? All right, try this again.
What is it?
On the MMR account.
Oh, that is weird. So yeah, the teacup.
Okay, this is how you should not pose.
Wonderful cell phone demonstration, Sarah. But it's almost like you forgot that you've got me that can overlay this on top. So here you go.
Right.
And you know what's funny? I didn't even know how that whole thing started. Well, actually, I have a kind of an idea. If you see a couple of the top pros, I'm not even going to name names, and I'm talking like top 5.
Okay.
They a lot of times they sneak their like last year, especially before the whole teacup thing happened, you look at their pictures and their arm was out. So I can see how a lot of people started to mimic that. You know who I'm talking about?
I do.
Okay, there's a couple of them, 2 of them.
I do.
They would do that in their. What's that?
Sorry.
Well, no, I was saying they would use that, and so I think a lot of people started to like study their posing because they were like in the top 5, and now it's like this like whole teacup thing.
Right. It's like whatever people see at whatever level, they are saying, "Oh, that's I should be doing this is how you pose." Oh my gosh, don't get my nails on that. I need to get I forgot to do that before quarantine. So it's beautiful Alexandria Ross. So she is exampling how you can pose. So that's going to be that arm straight down. Still showcases the delt. And it's not that you can't have your arm rotated upwards. It's just that it can't be bent upwards, which I totally understand. Especially with wellness coming out, it helps making the differential.
But they can't do that either.
Right. Scratch that. Shit. I don't even know why I said that. Whoops.
I think some people it looks really distracting, but I think some people, I don't know. I personally, honestly, I don't care too much about it.
You don't do it, so of course not. No,
Well,
I think it matters more.
I
for,
honestly,
like,
I started to do it semi because I did see a lot of the top pros doing that. I'm like, well, maybe I should try that a little bit, you know?
Right.
We all kind of change our routines slightly based on the trends and stuff. But anyways, yeah, teacup, no teacup. That's fine.
No teacup, people. You heard it here last. Maybe we should whip out that wine now.
I have to go drive around soon. I know.
Spice it up a
And
little
trust
bit.
me, I have been drinking every night too. It's my meal 5 or 6. I'm not skipping that meal.
No skipping the all liquid meals, please.
All right.
Okay,
so until next time, Sarah.
Until 5 minutes from now, Camille.
Yeah, and we're gonna dive into what everybody's wanting to talk about.
Yeah, so everyone, whoever watched this all the way through, will see us in the same outfits, the same position, doing another episode.
Yes.